All right, well, if you happen to follow me on social media, I've been talking about a polar vortex now, really for the last couple of weeks or so. And that's just talking about some of that cold air that's really working its way into the region. So we have a great video that we can take a look at. And this is actually a clip from December all the way through into half of January. And what it's showing is that cold air just spinning around in the North Pole. And it's nice and tight. And then as we've gotten into January, you can see where it kind of loosens up and changes its form a little bit. And what that does is start sending some cold air to different parts really of the world. So we have a quick explainer for you, just showing you that when you have that low pressure system and it's really tight, the jet stream is strong from west to east. So if you're below that line, you're going to have average or above average temperatures. You're going to have some moisture, and that's why we saw a lot of rain last month. When it becomes weak and it starts to wobble, then we get the troughs, we get the ridges. That gives us a couple of warm days that are above average, gives us some days that are really cold where we get 20s and 30 degrees, and that allows some of that cold air to come in place like it has now, in line with a storm system that's making its way into the region tonight. So it's just a little bit of knowledge for you, just to try to let you know that there's more to what's happening outside. There's a bigger thing that's going on, and that dictates and changes our temperature. So for right now, we're really sitting on par where we should be. Today's high was 36, average is 39. Last night's low of 20 is right on mark. So nowhere near that 70 as a high or -8 back in 1904. Now, as far as daylight time, we have added more than 45 minutes just since we've had that winter solstice. So we do have a lot of daylight, and we're still sitting at 1.58 inches, but we do have some snow on the way. Now, we're talking about those ridges and those troughs. So now if you really look at those next few days, I know no one's really looking past tomorrow, but you can see almost a staircase. Temperatures really getting back not only into the 40s, but pretty close to the 50s all the way through by the end of next weekend. That's part of the ridges, and it's also part of that trough system we were talking about. So we've got a couple high pressures in place out to our west. That's our storm system. You can see a changeover into the snow as it's starting to hit that cold air, which will make its way into our area overnight. So as we put the tracker in motion, we can see right around 3 or 4 o'clock, snow works its way into our region. Once we get into the late morning, it's pretty heavy throughout. Everyone will have snow, even D.C. and I-95. I know that's always a question. Once we get into the later part of the day, we can see that mixing coming in on I-95, Dale City, and southern Maryland will turn into rain. And once we get into the evening time, we're going to have a little bit of a dry slot where we actually lack some moisture, and that's because on that back end, that other low pressure is transferring its energy to the coast. And while it's doing that, that's where we get into a little bit of a lull. So once that low pressure redevelops and exactly the timing, that'll be our Monday system. We'll figure that out by tomorrow. We'll see how much snow we can get on that back end. If we can pick up a few more inches or more as it circles around, you can see that snow again clipping us on Monday pretty well. So that's why it's one system, but it's two parts. So right now we're focusing on Sunday, looking at 4 to 6 inches throughout the region. The hardest, heaviest areas are going to be up towards Pennsylvania. But for tonight, 26 degrees, those clouds are moving in, and we will have some light snow by morning. So tomorrow, snowy, gust winds will start to pick up in the afternoon. We can see up to 20 miles an hour. Looking at Silver Spring, Bethesda, Rockville, Gaithersburg sitting right around 30 degrees. Frederick, Linganore, Walkersville, Thurmont, 29, and Myersville, pretty much the same all the way around, and then just below freezing throughout all of Northern Virginia. Now, taking a look at our 7-day forecast, we've got that snow tomorrow. Then we get into Monday, we'll have a little bit of that freezing mix, which will change back into snow later in the day. That's where we're looking at a potential of even more accumulation. And then if you take a look at the rest of the week, we've got some breezy conditions, a little bit of sunshine. Temperatures definitely warming up to the upper 40s by the end of the week, and then a chance of mixed precipitation by next weekend. And that's a look at your 7-day forecast.